Orthopedic. Hi guys, so I'm here to talk about orthopedic impairments. Bear with me, my camera quality isn't the best, but that's not the point. So, before this presentation, I didn't really know what an orthopedic impairment was. I guessed that it was something to do with feet, something that it would impair a student's walking and mobility. But the definition that I found from the U.S. Department of Education states that an orthopedic impairment means a severe orthopedic impairment that adversely affects a child's educational performance. The term includes impairments caused by congenital anomaly, impairments caused by disease, bone tuberculosis, poliomyelitis, and impairments from other causes, i.e. cerebral palsy, amputations, or fractures or burns that would cause contractures. And that was from the U.S. Department of Education. Next in my presentation, I talked a little bit about how the disability is determined, in other words, how it's diagnosed. So, in order for this disability to be considered an orthopedic, in order for a disability to be considered an orthopedic impairment, an evaluation has to be done by a physician, of course. The evaluation would vary from state to state, but the evaluation must prove that the impairment will negatively affect a child's performance in school. So, for example, getting around from class to class, if the impairment shows that the child is going to have issues getting to class, getting upstairs, getting downstairs, getting to the cafeteria, or not only that, getting to school transportation-wise, if it's going to be an issue getting on a bus, getting on a van, that's something that the doctor is going to evaluate when looking at the child. Also, observation in the school setting may also be done to determine how much of the impairment will affect the student. Like I said, for example, just getting around the school from day to day. Will the student need a ramp for a wheelchair? Will the student need an elevator perhaps? Will their classes need to be all on one floor, etc., etc.? Then I went on to talk a little bit about the incidence of the disability. So the U.S. Department of Education states that in 2003 and 2004, it was documented that out of 6 million students that were receiving special education services, over 70,000 were for orthopedic impairments. So when you look at the numbers, that is a lot of students. But from 2011 to 2012, the U.S. Department of Education documented that only 61,000 students were receiving special education services for orthopedic impairments. So 70,000 to 60,000 in about close to 10 years is a significant drop in number, which is a good thing. So the decline in number shows that there are less students receiving services for orthopedic impairments. But this also could be students that are undocumented cases or aren't receiving accommodations for their sorry. And then I talked a little bit about the manifestation in education, which was similar to the incidence. The National Center for Education Statistics stated that in 2012, orthopedic impairments made up 0.1% of the total number of people aged 3 to 21 that are served under the IDEA, which I found out stands for the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, Part B. And this was found at the National Center for Education Statistics in 2015. For support and assistance, there are many possible academic restrictions that would come with an orthopedic impairment. Some would include issues getting around the school from class to class, to the cafeteria, to the bathroom, up the stairs to classes, down the stairs, etc. Also, trouble with taking physical education or gym, because students are mandated to take gym and have a certain number of credits or hours of gym before they graduate high school. So meeting that requirement might be difficult. Also, limitations with communication and limitations with transportation. These students obviously wouldn't be able to walk to school, bike to school. They would need a van, a bus that would have special seats or special rows to accommodate the impairment and to accommodate any possible guides that they may have, like a wheelchair or a cane. And then I talked a little bit about strategies in schools. So with students with this disability, like I said before, might need special transportation, like a bus or a van with special seats, in order to accommodate them safely. Ramps or elevators might be needed in the school to assist with mobility. Another great point that I found is that a physical therapist, a PT, or an OT would be helpful to this population to help them just with fine motor skills and skills that they would need in life, like brushing their teeth, tying their shoe, etc. Students with this disability may also need devices to aid in motility. These would be wheelchairs, walkers, canes, the braces, etc. And with those, the school would have to accommodate not only the student but their device, like I said. So if they're in a wheelchair, they would need a ramp. For like a walker, they might need someone that can help with the student carrying the student's books and aid, etc. Also, teachers and faculty must be aware of the student's condition and provide a safe and comfortable learning environment. So that concludes my presentation. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed researching this topic because I had not much prior knowledge to it. Like I said before, I thought it was mainly a foot injury, and then I realized that it goes into cerebral palsy and various severe bone fractures, burns, etc. So have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.